Hello and welcome. My name is Trismegistus, and today we're playing some more Factorio just for a change. Well, I hope we are anyway. My literally, what was it, 3 minutes before I was about to start the stream, my PC, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but basically all my screens went black. The PC was still running and seemed to be functioning, but the actual, I got black screens basically. So I had almost a very similar thing happened yesterday. So hopefully my graphics card is not on the way out. It is an extremely expensive graphics card, so that would not be ideal. But yeah, meant I am a little bit late, which is unfortunate, as I was hoping to end a little bit early. Right, we are continuing on exactly where we were yesterday. Oh, we have a turret out of ammo. It's just an insert a speed thing again, I think, isn't it? Yeah, because these have got plenty in the box. Have I done like inserter capacity? I have, as far as I can. I have done inserter capacity. Okay. So yes, the plan today is to do what we were hoping to do yesterday, which is make space science in a more sort of robust and reliable way. I do need to just check the levels, don't I? Because I didn't check that beforehand. Yeah, we have that audio there. That's good. Cool. Yes, I had hoped to set this oil field up. That is incredibly loud for me. Probably not surprising, as I didn't. In fact, I know, actually, it won't have. Hang on. Because I was recording this morning, I was recording the quick tutorials. Yeah, so this is way too loud for what I normally stream at. Doesn't have the music on. But I also then need to adjust that. There we go. It's all fun and games, isn't it? All fun and games. Okay, we have that there. Right, I see. Yes. Some of those. Yes, I'd sort of hoped that I might get a chance to kind of put in this oil, because the oil can be a bit tedious to set up, if I'm honest. We'll get these in, and then we'll ghost some more in. That there, and I think that's the whole patch. Hopefully so. Let's clear this out since there's no bots reached as yet. I was going to put stone on this, wasn't I? On the other side. Okay. Oh, shot me own thing. Nice. Head. Right. Yeah, setting up the oil is usually a bit tedious, in my opinion. So I would have liked to have done that off stream, but there you go. If we do would a single point work here? Whoops. We can move that a bit there. But then I think we'll try and fill up two sort of thing, so that we have a bit more of a continuous supply. There we go. Fit these in. So, in fact, yeah. I love it does the replace now. Okay. Connect you to that one. That one, given that they're both like that, probably better to turn that one around. Do that. No, I was saying that I've got a bunch here as well. Grenade these trees. I can. So turn that around. Wonder if that would reach. So then if we do that to there. Something like that. Yep. And then get this. That there. Let's gap that one. Put those two together, can't we? That as well. So, oops. Oop. Oops. Somewhere in there. We've got two there that we can just sort of put around. So, pick them up. And I guess just simply it's a bit loud that music. I guess I didn't adjust it down, did I? Here we go. Maybe if we turn these ones around, they're all coming out of something like that, maybe. There. I think this will just directly connect with it. Oh, ran out of undies. Probably make some more, actually. Yeah. Don't really need to do this anymore. It's just, it looks a bit tidier, really. Let's do that. Cool. That'll do us, I think. See the old power poles on. Doot. There. Yeah. Too far away, isn't it? There. Oh, I've missed one. Let's do that way around then. That. Now, does that cover? It doesn't cover all of the patch, does it? So, we look at well, we could put one in here, I think, and give us coverage. Missing bits. I assume they're building these, are they? Are you building things, bots? Don't appear to be building things. Why not? Have I severed a Roboport connection or anything like that? No. Ah, there's no power. Okay. Yeah, so we need to fix that. Otherwise we're not connected, are we? Okay. Let's go and do that then. And then we'll have to wall it in. So I was hoping to do this last night, but well, I just didn't. No particular reason for it, just didn't. Right, so we need something here that's like some gates and stuff, don't we? So we need to chop this back a bit. Oops, that. And if we take them straight, that shows where the report. Okay, should be exactly where the thing is. We can move that and put the rail there. Put that just a little bit back. Oops. So that charges it up, gets it in the system. Excuse me, and away we go. I should note, I guess I do have the air conditioner on again. Just, as mentioned yesterday, we seem to be ramping up for another heat wave in the UK. Sweet. And let's put a booster on there. Bit of the old. In fact, we'll do it from the map view. Get the bots to fill it up. And also then get some more laser action on the go. There maybe. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that should bring it all into the system. So I'll actually start building it now. I'd sort of assumed it was building it, but it clearly was not. Should I wait for the bots to bring stuff? Because we need those extra, whatchamacallits, pump jacks. Where are your bots? Sort of coming. I don't see any red ones. Oh, I see any red ones then. Red ones are the ones doing a job for you. Oh, there we go. Coming in. Yeah, let's sort of head over that way. Kind of meet them halfway. Okay. So that can finish off the pump jacks in particular. Any of this for me? They seem to be returning with like batteries and stuff, so I assume I've managed to cancel the order somewhere. Because these look like things that they would bring to me. Yeah, look, pump jacks then. I have obviously done something wrong somewhere. Now, did I set these up with oil and stuff? I don't think I did I? So I have one oil train there. Oh, they're down the bottom, aren't they? Okay. Okay, that's not a problem. That's a problem. That's got no power. guess it wouldn't have, because it's not part of the... Yeah, it's missing it because it's... Just put one in there. Because it should have the substations on it. So I don't have them yet. So has it brought me pump jacks? That's the... Yes, it has. Cool. So I think we can head off. Which... Punch more. In fact, let's just wait for that last pipe. Cool. So that's us stocked up again. Say stocked up. I don't have walls and stuff, do I? Or stuff for walls. I mean, bare minimum. But yeah, they should chug away making this rail connection. Where do we actually need walls then? Because there's a big gap here. Focus on one thing. Let's build all that in. You're not powered. Well, none of it's powered, isn't it? But that's not. It's not going to reach. 2. Cool. See if I can build some of this. I could put the load stations in as well, couldn't I? There we go. Oh, it's a different one. It's that one. Item pickup. There we go. And we want it to pick up stones. And stones. And we want to limit the boxes though. Although we put a stacker in here, didn't we? Yes, we did, so we don't need to bother that. Build all of that in. Cool. So in theory, once that's, you know, built round, that will all connect and trains will start training and all that sort of stuff. We need to build that, I guess, as well, don't we? I do... What way round do I want to do? I guess like that. So I made a discovery. So I was doing the quick tutorial. Sorry, I'm just trying to line this up. Quick tutorial this morning. And I was building a great big belt to bring iron to the base. I'm trying to do them so that they're like realistic for the phase that someone would be at when they would need that particular piece of advice. So I'm actually sort of semi-playing the game. And I was building a great big belt and I was going along doing that. And then I turn round without, and I'm holding the left click and the belt's disappearing. Because there's a thing, I never use it, where you can actually get it to change direction. I'm holding left click continuously. You can do this and that. But if you go backwards on it, so I guess it'd be that way. No, that way. No, I don't know what it. I don't know what angle I've got it set at now. But yeah, if you build a bell and just holding left click and you realise, oh, that's in the wrong place. But I don't know if that's brand new or that was always added to 2.0 and I just never realised. I've never seen anyone mention it. But then I don't know how many people actually use I certainly don't. The whole, if you hit the R key, it'll change direction, without you having to lift off thing. So yeah, that was. I was recording away, and suddenly, I did that, and I was like, "What? What's going on?" So yeah, so I don't know if that's a brand new thing or what really. So if we do, oops. Oh, no. I actually wonder if it works with rail. No. No. So yeah, it's just a belt thing. Interesting. Quite useful if you are, and I imagine that's the use case where it caused them to do it. If you're sort of chugging away building and you realise it's one tile off, it stops you having to undo it, in quite a normal way. So which way around does that needs to be a V flip? No, that's H flip. No. What do we do? Would be that H flip there. No. H flip again. V flip. Oops. No. Does it not work? So that's the... Oh no, I don't need to use it, do I? Because these automatically connect. I have just remembered. That's just built around the same size. I wonder if I could get a gate in there instead. Does it work? Kinda. Oh, I haven't got any gate, have I? It all got glued up in the tank. Fish couldn't tell. You're watching the streams of VOD or you're watching yesterday. I wasn't having that good of a day yesterday. I was sort of... I've been struggling with sleep. For various reasons. And yeah, I wasn't doing too well yesterday. Possibly. Well, not helped by the fact that I think I mentioned before that I managed to break my bed, so I've had to order a new one. Which means I've been effectively sleeping on the floor. For a good while. I also ordered a new mattress. I needed a new mattress anyway. I was always going to buy a new mattress. Put it to a head. And I got a sprung mattress rather than it's a foam mattress. And I think I hate it. I don't think I like it at all. So I might have to buy a replacement foam mattress. Which is not what I was anticipating spending my bonus on. There you go. I think maybe one there and one there. Yeah. in. So that gets that, and then I guess if I just do that bit as well. Do we want a gate here? I guess we probably do. Right. Okay. We'll put roboports around it, obviously, but oh, there's a little gap there, isn't there? There's not much point because we don't have the power yet. Oh, I didn't put lasers on. Boop. 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 Let's do. Cool. Perfect little gap for our solar turrets. Let's do that bit. What else? Should do this bit over here. I'm not quite sure what to do across here. Oh, there's a gap there, isn't there? Because I'm probably better trying to link that across there rather than try and do something weird and have trains just sort of flying about in biter land. Okay. Let's do this bit here then. Yeah, where do I want to put this? Maybe. Something like that. Connect these across. So. I need to get the bots to sort this out for me. I could put it in the actual blueprint, couldn't I? I didn't think about that. It's probably the last time we're doing it, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. How are you guys doing over there? Still chugging away. Right. I do have quite a few roboports and stuff, so let's see about speeding that part of the job up. Kind of building power line in. One of the things I was doing tutorial this morning was trying to explain the whole thing with steel, where it just matches one furnace to one furnace, but more materials, and I just kept flubbing it up, and I was like, oh, this explanation I'm giving is terrible. Oops, that would be not a shotgun. Especially as you know, or be part of it that I'm trying to do them so quick. You know, I'm trying to be, let's get through it, get the point made, and get on with it. You know. Because what they should do is should put all of the rail requests in as simultaneous things. And of course, there should be hundreds of bits of rail. Oops. Okay, so that gets a lot more of it done. A lot quicker. Should also bring power down to this, I think. Yep, so we've got power there. We have oil doing its oil thing. Excellent. Them filling up with oil. Excellent, excellent. And we should be able to bring... I say excellent because that would trigger pollution, won't it? How about then we cut off the supply for a bit? Now, what are we at? We're at mining. I don't know what a mining pod is and stuff. I guess I could just use the 30 default. 24. So we've got like 153 miners, but it's not going to be. So that's then 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 60, 90. In theory, 5 belts of yellow. So it should be okay. Quite a while. Just this one. Let's grab that one as well. It's probably going to be easier just to wall that, kill them off and wall that in. I could just have my trains go into no man's land, as it were. Really want that there, but I don't want to power that up either. Okay, so, in fact, let's lob some poison in. Damage on stuff. Hello, dog. What is backseating? Backseating is when... so it's named after backseat driving, which is when somebody in the passenger seat, typically in the back seat of the car, is telling the driver what to do, basically. So backseating means, in the context of a game, means basically going, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, to the streamer, essentially. Well, that's what backseating is. Now, I don't actually mind it too much, to a degree. The reason I put no backseating on, I mean, I don't like it when it's, continuous and da da da. The reason I put it on is because people who backseat, who tell the streamer what to do, get upset when you don't do what they say. And I've had quite a few uncomfortable situations where they're going, oh, you should do this, and I just ignore them because I just want to play the game my way. And then they start, putting snide comments in and have you. So, yeah, I just set it as no backseating because that's simpler to understand. I would say it is particularly annoying in games like this, which are sandbox games that you can play anywhere you want. And it's one of the things I find generally frustrating, if I'm totally honest, because, the whole thing of, let's just say it, like the Nilhouse thing of, this is how you do it, there is no other option, this is the only way of doing it. And it's, literally the opposite of what the game is, So yeah, that's why I tend to put that tag on. But that explains it. One of the things that, I say, it's sort of in the same category, but particularly if I, make errors, like I put a belt backwards or miss a bit of the wall or something like that, that's quite useful to flag. So that's why I don't fundamentally mind it, but yeah. It's just easier to have that on, and then people don't get upset when you ignore them. So, I guess I need to do a little shenanigans here. Yeah, I need to spread it across 4 really, don't I? Good thing I know almost nothing about the game, so no backseat from me. Worries. Hello, Annette. Welcome. And hello, Dog, as well. Welcome. Mr. Triggers. Hello, chat. Welcome, robots. Indeed. And welcome to everyone. I hope you're doing well. Right. The goal of this stream, I didn't say earlier, is to try and get that space science up and running, which is why I'm still continuing on with this, what is a fairly significant oil build. When you think about it, I mean, at the stage of the game we are, we don't really need this scale, but because it's this modified train world settings, everything's quite big and far away, so it becomes a bit more of a job to get it going. Is that all right? Yeah, that'll do. And then I'll bring these over and connect them up here. But we need plastic basically in order to make those density structures. There you go. So this is this thing I discovered. I don't know that I like it because I'm a bit incompetent with my clicking. But I'm just holding left click and it automatically pulls the belt up if you run back on it. I don't know if it does. Does it for... No, it doesn't. It doesn't do it for pre-built belt, as it were. But if you're building in, it's... I don't know. It feels like it's something that could be useful if you get used to it. Like if I built this here and I was like, oh no, actually that should connect to that one. So sort of useful, but I don't know. I'm a bit haphazard with my clicking, so it feels like I'm going to get annoyed by it rather than that. Cool. So, assuming power ever arrives, and these lazy bots get on with what they're doing, I think we're in a position where the stone and oil, once switched on, would kick into life. Now we've built the one extra the fluid wagon. I'm still worried as to why. I guess that's because these guys filled it up, didn't they? So with this generic train system, what should happen? I guess what I should really have is a go to depot when you've got nothing to do thing. But these guys, they're not... There's no demand for iron ore. Well, there is actually. But because I didn't put balancers in, the system is blocked. but it should become unblocked when the stone starts happening, because they're generic trains. That's the hope, anyway. Now, where we want to drop this stone off is... I was going to do more steel here, wasn't I? So I was going to use... Is that right? I'm going to do iron, steel, but that's two... That's twice what I think it is. So that's like 2/5, 4/5. I could just spaghetti it round, it doesn't matter. But I'm certainly going to need at least one more steel. So if we do stone coming in here. So if we make this... Do you also play RimWorld? No, I've never played RimWorld. I hear very good things about it. What we're doing? We're doing a drop-off, aren't we? No, I never sort of picked it up. I think... I don't know, it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but it's, you know, given that I've got thousands of hours in Factorio, which is a game that a lot of people find intimidating, but I don't know, it seemed a bit intimidating, basically. Yeah, I'm not sure it's wise setting any of these to more than one carriage, is it? But yeah, it sort of felt a bit like it would be hard to learn, really. I've also never really been a... It's why I never really get on with, like, you know, like the Souls type games, because I've never really been into the whole learn by dying thing, and particularly with like a colony game, as it were, where it's like, you know, you just put all those hours in. It's like the Dwarf Fortress thing. That's what was one of the main things, apart from I didn't really like the ASCII graphics, but main thing that put me off with that, where you spend like, you know, 500 hours building a colony and it suddenly then collapses. And Dwarf Fortress, that's kind of the point of the game in a sense. You know, you'll never get a Dwarf Fortress that lasts forever. But yeah. Hello, John. The Venn diagram of RimWorld enjoyers and Factorio enjoyers is basically a perfect circle. Really? Okay. I'll have to give it a go at some point. One of my problems, I'm Steam's best nightmare. I'm terrible for buying new games. I have literal hundreds of games on my backlog, and I do mean literally hundreds of games. But yeah, I'll take a look. I do love a good colony game. I'm really looking forward to the end. I mean, I love the Anno games. I don't know if you know those at all. They're a lot. It's a lot more known, I think, because 1800, most recent one, was a really big success. But I've been playing since 1404. I know 1404, and I really love them. It's very I don't mean this in a sort of offensive way, but it's a very Germanic game, because it is a German studio. Although I guess because it's part of Ubisoft now, so it's sort of probably a bit more, not quite that really, but yeah, it's always sort of a... And that's basically like a blend of logistics and, you know, it's like a colony game that's also a logistics game. I'll take one more off, maybe? One more? Yeah, and then we want to go up here. Do I use this one? I can't remember on this. I think it is. If I refit that? No? Maybe it is just the... It's whether it's concave or convex, basically. I always forget which one's which. So... I don't know that I need another gate, but no, it's not putting it there. Now we should be able to connect the roboports across. Well, compared to Factorio RimWorld, it's easy. Okay. As I, it's, you know, it's one of those, in my wildest fantasies, the YouTube channel like explodes, and I don't know that I would be able to quit my job ever, but you know, I can maybe go part-time or something, and then I get a lot more time. I can start playing, and I spend, you know, the next, you know, 10 years trying to get through my backlog. So I don't know, there-ish maybe? No, I think I'll move that a bit further down. Pop one in there. Because once we've got the roboports connected, I can just leave them to do this basically. Yeah, I should put, if I put ammo in there. Oops, wrong button. Like that. And then do that. It's a lot of ammo that I'm putting in, isn't it? I think you can do it one by one, can't you? Let's do it as, put 30 in. Ish. 31 then. I do actually have an upgraded one of these somewhere. And then for this one again. Get that in. Cool. And then we want lasers. Yeah, so I've never been a massive fan of the whole learn by dying thing. It's why I've never really quite taken to things like roguelikes and stuff like that, where it's like, you know, the whole point of it is you die sort of thing. It's part of the reason. So with this game, where there's that thing of people keep restarting, and you know, there's always give the advice of push on, you know, just keep going and finish the game, no matter how scrappy it is and what have you. Got the rope active. And part of the reason I did that, you know, where I finally got to the point of actually finishing the game, was because I was like, I'm putting hundreds of hours in. Well, not hundreds, dozens of hours in, and not actually getting anywhere. So let's crack on. Let's get it finished, no matter what mess it was. There. Lasers on. Cool. So. Nearly finished. Is that going to be? Yeah, it's going to get built as well. Nice. So. I think my angles are okay on this. So, if we say that this is like the worst point here, so that angle across there, so a bot might fly across to go to there, and I don't think it overlaps with that. So I don't think we'll lose any bots that way. But I am wondering, what do I do? I think I am just going to end up with a gigantic wall across there, aren't I? Because connecting these up is basically pointless. I miss my own factory. Do you, why do you not have access to your factory? Are you on holiday or dead PC or something like that? Is this because that's not? So my extent of my defences is actually around there, isn't it? So yeah, I think it's just a case of a wall straight up there and across there. I don't think there's much benefit to me really using. I mean, that is shorter. Because I really want this. In fact, would we be better claiming all that territory? We go across there? Probably is a bit easier. So I think I'm going to see if I can find this upgraded version of these. Where would that be? Fences. So that's the wall upgrade. Yeah, laser walls. There we go. But these have. Oh no, they don't have requested chests in. Okay, why don't we use them then? I could maybe edit the request here. Maybe if we redo these. So I don't want the requesters. Okay, so if I make a copy of that. I mean, I do want the requesters, but I can't afford them yet. Well, I can't build them yet because they haven't got that. So if we do that as our swap on this, then that should put there. Now, if I take these, so if we get rid of that one, and put that one there instead. Now, have I got the? I don't think I can build them. It doesn't matter. If we go. Pop that one down. Get my what's the velvet. We go to the map view. Put 30 in there, so. Hello, Blizzmartix. How you doing? I thought about starting a Crashtoria 2 spaced out playthrough soon. I'm not sure when you say spaced out. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know. It's just a phrasing thing. But is there a mod called Spaced Out? Yeah, I'm very similar. What I will be doing is, in parallel with this series, I'll be doing a Crashtoria 2 playthrough. Put that in. Yeah. But I wanted to do that. Well, I'm going to be taking a break at bank holiday weekend that we have coming up. So I'll start it after that, I think. I got hit the sack early today because of... Oh, I see. Oh, no. Forced to go to sleep, eh? So I'll make Crashtoria 2 compatible with Space Age. Oh, right, okay. Huh, interesting. That presumably wasn't Rhaegar. I mean, I know Rhaegar did the... Because Rhaegar's like the custodian of it, you know, it wasn't him that made the mod. So will that have... Well, the thing I always forget on this, does that then have the request in it? No, I have to do it from the map, don't I? I have to do it like this, weirdly. Is that right? Pop it down there. Now does it have a request? No, it doesn't. Maybe the ghost request only works. You can't put it in a blueprint? Did they fix that? Or maybe it has to be a ghost. Maybe that's the thing. So if we try that, then I can't. It's a weird. It always felt like this was a bug, and they've kind of just left it. Let's see if I can get it to do it this way. But it's 30. And then we blueprint it again. So save. Oops. Let's take that one out. And then now it's got it, you see. Yeah, so it has to be a ghost. Weird. Okay. Let's start again then. That's intriguing then, if Crestoria 2 is Space Age compatible. I wonder how janky it is if you play it through normally, you know, as a version 2 Crestoria 2 and then switch to Space Age at some point. I wonder if that... Oops, no, don't build it. Now, go to map view. So this is massively jank-tabulous, isn't it? Cool. That, and then check it. Yep. Yeah. So it has to be the ghost, and you have to do it from map view to do that setting the numbers thing. How weird. No, that's not map view. So that's that one. That. So then this one. Are we in map view? Yeah, we are. I think maybe just 20 in these. Just 2 of them. That. Spewing. Oh. Oops. Okay. That. And the gate. Doo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo. Get there in a minute. And then again. Bosh. Cool, so that's them upgraded. And now we should therefore be able to just slap them in, and when I put roboports on them, they'll all get built in hunky-dory. Cool. Oops. Yeah, I think I just need to arbitrarily... I think if we just go up from here, do a regular old corner. Just take it up from there. Watch this from the map as we can. Where do we need to move across? I guess... somewhere here, isn't it? Because we want to go across to there, basically. And then across. Very close to them, but... distance-wise, so we want to be sort of somewhere here. Whoops. So, I get rid of... Oh, it does this piercing round thing as a separate... That's annoying. So this wants to be sort of somewhere here-ish if we can. Yeah, that does that as a separate request. So it feels like it's a bug. Let's hope they never fix it. So I want that in there, really. Probably do want a gate somewhere here, don't we? Let's take it over a bit. Yeah, undo on them is horrendous. That one. Yeah, it's sort of here somewhere-ish. In the corner. Just want to go down from there. Hello, Chromie. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. I wondered if there is a way to make a blueprint of an already loaded turret and then make it be filled by robots when the blueprint is placed. That's what I'm doing, I think. A way to make a blueprint of an already loaded turret. No, I don't think so. You can do it. So what I'm doing, basically, so if you plop down a ghost via the map, you can't do it yourself. You can't be there basically and build it. You have to ghost it in, and then when you're in the ghost, you can set the amount of ammo. So say 11 rounds randomly, and then if we blueprint that, we now have a turret that when we pop it down, it has the request in. But you can't do it within. So if I pop this down, put 10 rounds here, say. I mean, they're obviously fictional round because I've got the old makes the bots have put them in on the machine. We then blueprint that. This I believe won't have the request in. Yeah, you see, it doesn't have the request in. It's like a quirk of how they've done it, basically. But I don't think that's what you mean. I think it's something slightly different. But yes, okay. So all of this is built in. Well, no, not all of it. Is that too far away? No, it's fine. So what we need to do then is sort of extend this round, and then the bots will fill up all these chesticles. Down. Bosh, bosh. As well. I guess we'll end up with some here. Oh. Huh. Let's see power poles. I don't want that. It's too far over. Yeah, so if I put these in preemptively. Oh, that is good actually. I tried to use that on volcanoes to remotely place the militia kill zones. Yeah, you can do it. So if you set the blueprint up, I say, do it all like via map view and stuff like that, then yeah, you can do it. Your sort of problem with it on volcanoes is that you're sort of dependent on bot travel time. So if you've got it all set up such that the bots will, and obviously bot speed is useful as well with that. But the bots can only carry so many bits of ammo. And it's construction bots that do it, you see, because it's taken as a construction order. It's not taken as a logistics order. But yeah, you can use it for that. You have to be a bit careful that your bots can actually, do the job, basically. Okay, so we want roboports. Now, that ends there. That's too far up, isn't it? So we're going to need one there. And then here. Where does that end? Sort of there-ish. So we could probably get one in. Problem with this blueprint is it now have to add on extra power poles to be able to put the roboports in. So if we copy paste that, and then distance wise it's sort of there-ish. So if we copy paste both of them, oh, I've done it slightly too far away. There. Is that better? Yes, that's better. Now then, where does this want to go? Sort of over to there, isn't it? Let's go and see what that diagonal is like. See, this is the bit I'm gonna moan about Satisfactory again. I don't usually moan about Satisfactory, but I'm gonna moan about Satisfactory again. This is the bit that I've found I've been finding, was finding frustrating, is that I'm obviously being a bit manual about all this, but that cliff's right in the way, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's the fact that in this game, I don't have to build any of this. I'm just putting in roboports, and the bots will just do it all. And I say that's to me that's what's missing in that game. You're all very well putting in these tiny little blueprints, That's why I think I prefer the Dice Sphere program of the two, because they've just copied the blueprint system, so it's like nice and easy. Okay, so that's today's Satisfactory moan out of the way. I'm sure that's cleared out all the Satisfactory players. As I will go back to the game. I just need to let the frustration subside, I think. Right, if we go sort of down that way, somewhere there. I think that lines up. We'll put a gate in here. And up to regular. I tried to get into the Battlefield 6 thing, but I got the... Apparently the queues are actually quite short, but it was like... What was it? Because I got one of the I got sent a code. I think they've been spamming... It's part of their problem. They've been spamming out these codes to everybody. Every Tom, Dick and Harry. I think it's... I'm saying this was on the Thursday before it went over. I think it was 80,000 people waiting. I was like, I'm not going to wait. It's only Battlefield. I don't really care. But apparently it's very good. Hello, Kevin. Hi, you should install the Amogus mod so that this is lore accurate. Indeed! Was that your comment on the video? Thanks, that's quite funny. I hadn't realised there was an Amogus mod. It was quite a surprise. Complaining about other factory games is my second favourite hobby after playing Factoria. Yeah, it's a British pastime, just moaning about stuff. It's what we do. It's one of the things I kind of... We're obviously notorious for being polite. Middle classes in particular. It's like one of the classic gags is like going to a restaurant and moaning to your partner, your friend or what have you, that oh, this is rubbish, and you know the cutlery's dirty and all this sort of stuff, and then the waiter comes over and says everything is all right, and you go, yes, yeah, it's wonderful, yeah. Meanwhile, you're seething. Put one in there. Yeah, I always knew there was a mod to make the engineer into a Mechanicus, you know, the part of the cult Mechanicus. I didn't know there was an Among Us one. That was rather weird. And rather prescient for what that video was all about. Let's go way down. One there. So you can see why I should have done this last night, because it's going to take a while, and all we're trying to do is make plastic. So I think that's that area sort of covered. Obviously they need to build the robot. I'm hoping we have robobots. Yeah, we got loads of them. Cool. I can obviously recycle a lot of these walls as well now. If we, you know, block this in, I could, excuse me, pull this up and that and that and that. It looks like we're running out. I think lasers might be the tricky part. I think they're not, because they're reliant on batteries. And battery production is pathetic, to say the least. I should, oh, I already did put mods in. It's slow anyway, though. In fact, why don't I upgrading that will help, don't it? No, I got a few. But yeah, I hope you're well, Kevin, and everyone watching on YouTube, and Twitch as well, of course. Tried Astro Colony and didn't like it. Which is Astro Colony? Is that? There's one that came out recently that, did it have that name? There've been a few coming out that are sort of halfway between I guess like a RimWorld and a, you know, and a Factorio sort of thing. Don't know why that's not for deletion. So that should have added, powering that up should have added more of this to the build queue. What's it actually moaning about here? So we don't have the gates. Ah, somewhere we've got some requester chests going on. Where are they? Why have we got? Oh, something's getting trashed. Oh, they're going over that. Oh, there's a new nest. Okay, we need to get rid of that. Righto. Where's my tank? Hello, Oscar. Welcome. You doing well? Yeah, so there's been a few sort of halfway colony, factory building type things. There are a couple that came out that were what was one? I think it's Modulus. That's not a colony. That's something else. But what's the other one? I've downloaded the demos on them, but they're almost like halfway between Shapes and, you know, like a Factorio. I mean, although obviously Shapes is sort of Factorio-like, but basically the idea being that you sort of build structural things, as it were. So you build. I'm going to die if I keep. But you sort of build the buildings with things that you build in the factories, but you kind of design the shapes. So if you need to make, if you imagine like Tetris blocks, that's kind of what they're built around. I haven't got the tongue kind of. But you're making Tetris type shapes, like in shapes, and you're doing the same sort of things where you're, you know, rotating the, you know, rotating the pieces around and slicing up. It's like it makes like bigger blocks, and you slice them up into shapes, and then you rearrange them. So if your starting shape is maybe, you know, a sort of a 2x4 shape, and what you want is a 1x8 shape, then you slice it up and put the two pieces on top, and then you get two of those. Very much like shapes, as I say. But the idea is it's not unlike shapes where you just throw them away into the void. You then actually use them in the next phase. So it's a bit like, you know, if you were building inserters in this game, but you had to build the arms, and you had to make a thing where it actually designed how you wanted to make the arms. So effectively, the sort of idea was it then's become, because it's up to you how you do that. You know, you don't have to slice it into 4 bits and put those on top of each other. You could slice it long ways and flip it round or something like that, you know. So they seem to have, that seemed to be an interesting concept for a different type of a factory game. But I played one, it was a bit sort of, the problem with it, it was very, very arbitrary. It was very, very shapesy, where it didn't really matter what shape you were making. And maybe I misunderstood the trailer, because I thought you were making the buildings, but you weren't, sort of thing. I quite like those as potential concepts for a different type of a factory game. Where you're actually designing the things as well. There's a, because that's what, if I was to, you know, build, miraculously somehow be able to make a game like this, that's one of the things I try and do. I try and make it so that you had to design the actual thing itself, a bit like in SpaceX, where you can design the spaceship, you know, or in this, you design your space platform, but taking it down to a lower level, or like a Lego Builders or something like that. You tried Solar Rapture? No, I've not heard of that one. It's like Satisfactory, but with hostile roaming enemy. Oh, no, I have. That's the one. So, what's his name? X-Clips, is it? The guy does a lot of Satisfactory stuff. I think he's got early access, hasn't he? And he's been doing videos on it. And I hadn't looked at that. So I saw the trailers and stuff like that. It did look quite interesting. I wasn't sure. Again, I was saying earlier, roguelike elements in games can be a bit hit and miss for me, and it seemed to have some element of that where you kind of, we want to connect this across to here, really, don't we? You know, where there's like, well, like the solar, you know, rapture happens, and it basically resets the map and like trashes all your buildings and stuff. Sometimes I don't like that sort of thing, but could be interesting, I don't know. So it was a game, Nightingale, that I was really, really hyped for. It was like a survival type thing, and you would build, it had quite a intricate and detailed like construction system in it, and you could build, not like Valheim, you know, where you had to do structurally sound buildings and stuff, but you know, you could build fancy buildings, you know, so it had a sort of architectural component. So I got really like hyped for it, and then it came out, and it was the most. I mean, it was always, you know, I knew it was a survival game. I didn't know, it wasn't, you know, misled or anything like that. I knew what it was in that sense, but it was the most grindy survival game you can imagine. You just, you know, if you wanted to build a wall, you had to go out and chop down 12 trees, and it was just really excessive. And if you wanted to build anything fancy, but it had this concept of like, so it really leaned into the roguelike thing. whereby you would go out and essentially set. So it had this card system where you went to different realms, and those would allow you to tailor the experience that you got. You know, what enemies were there and how difficult it was, what type of terrain, which sounds like an interesting concept. But when you have to grind for, 20 hours just to make a wooden, wooden fence sort of thing, I just got bored of it. But no, I don't. I'd love to give Solar Rapture a go. Actually, there was a playtest demo. Okay, and it wasn't roguelike. You just couldn't build bigger factories than you had cooling for. All right. The reset thing only reset the planet, so there are no enemies on the map for a while until the planet reset. Okay. Interesting. Moat Mancer was interesting. Basically, hexagonal Factorio with magic. Ooh. Interesting. A sort of the what was the one? It wasn't really a colony builder. It was a sort of what was that called? I'll just look it up. It's on my Steam. It's one I do have. I think it came out of early access, and I should give it. It's one of the, it's to say this problem I have of buying games and I just don't finish them or don't even start them. What was it called? You built like a Harry Potter style, like magic school, basically. What was that called? I've still got it installed. The other problem I have is I spend so much time of my spare time playing Factorio. Mind Over Magic, that was it. That was good fun. So I think that came out of early access, so I should give it another go. But it had actual structural, when you were building the magic school, you had to take account of like structural things. It wasn't harsh, it wasn't, so not quite as Valheim-y, but yeah, you had to build the walls, so, so that it would kind of work, kind of be supported. I mean, it was more that it wouldn't let you build them and they fell down. You just couldn't build them if they were, so you couldn't build just, a wall and then 20, like Satisfactory with 30 wall floor pieces unsupported. It just wouldn't let you build that. But the mechanic to it, like the resource gathering, was that this fog was coming in, and you could do these magic spells to push it back, and then that would give you access to the materials in them. But if you let it come in a bit, then there were different resources in the fog. But also then there was a whole building element to it where you built underneath the school, so you could build it up, but you could then mine out underneath and build stuff, in the catacombs, as it were, as well. Yeah, it's quite a nice little concept to it. Where am I going with this one? I just want to get it set up so that the bots will, chug away building it in. If the biters come and eat it, I can always go and fix it, sort of thing. Or, kill them off. But so either I build a gigantic wall down here. I suppose the bots are going to do it, aren't they? Don't really matter. Yeah, so we might as well claim these coal patches and the copper. There's nothing in here. Okay, let's set that up then. This space science is not really happening, is it? It's like yesterday. Planet recover. So after the ruptures, there were some interesting asteroids that were called by the other period. Okay. It kind of... I think they shot themselves in the foot, but I really like Tectonica. But when it was in early access, I really enjoyed playing that. But I'll be honest, they messed up their early access because they put in, I know why they did it and I get it, sort of thing, and I wasn't actually all that bothered about it, but they basically put in laser tag in the game, like as in, the game laser tag, as in you run around laser tagging things, and it was like, the community, you know, the players were basically, why have you done this? I mean, I don't think they hated it as such, but it felt like they were sort of chasing a, you know, what do you call it? Not a sort of live service thing, but you know, that sort of trying to give because I think they were more interested in it being a multiplayer game than the actual, you know, player base was. Now, is that one? If I flip that way, there we go. That's when they go in there. But yeah, I think they were more interested in making it a multiplayer game than the actual community was interested in playing a multiplayer game. What I haven't done, I haven't put the walls in, have I? That's the gates in. And all these things that I'm building, all these gates. And I think that kind of finished them to some extent. I mean, I think that was their, I don't think it was doing that well, sales-wise. And their sort of Hail Mary, their attempt to get people to play was putting this laser tag in. And instead, extremely angry community in response. So they just sort of packed it in. Thankfully, they did finish it, in quotes. But apparently it gets to a point where it's just insane the amount of building you have to do. There's a bit where you're sort of clearing out these sand, this like desert area basically. And it just becomes this enormous, horrible job to get rid of it all. Apparently, I say, I'd love to go back and give it a go, but because they didn't, then, you know, that was it then. It was done, in quotes. So they didn't support, you know, there was no rebalancing, which is probably what it needed. But there you go. Yeah, I quite like that it had quite a, you know, a proper story in it. It's one of the things I was most interested in. Which I think that solar, the reason why I was saying that was I think that solar rupture does as well. Probably completely wrong on that. At some point, Tectonica got low FPS for me. I wonder if they de-optimized it or my computer broke since I first played it. What they did, I mean, I don't know when you played, as it were, but they basically divided. So they never really optimized the game because, I say, they kind of ran out of money and just had to stop developing it. But they essentially ran out of money, and what they did to try and get around that optimization problem is they divided the map up into levels. So where it was previously, and I say this was another thing that the community was like, nah, that's not what we want. But I say I can understand them doing it because they had to finish it, you know, because they ran out of cash. But yeah, they basically chopped it all up so that instead of basically one gigantic level with the different caverns, because obviously they made a sort of rob for their own back because of the whole destructible Minecraft style voxel terrain. It really was one gigantic map. So, you know, you could build anywhere, and you know, you could mine out the whole thing in theory. Have I missed any other? I think we're okay with the rest of the gates. So obviously, say they made this, you know, problem for themselves, and then rather than kind of actually optimize it, because say no cash, they did it so that instead the whole thing was much smaller single levels that you went between in an elevator. I say that kind of went down like a fart in a spacesuit. And what you did, you moved materials between the levels by sending them through the lift, basically. You know, it had little connectors on it, and you sent materials around. It's like they put in a train system, and it was more like a weird sort of super complicated belt. It's difficult to explain. So if I had a ball across there, there, and there, I think we're done, and we can go and actually, because I'm hoping. Oh no, I never reconnected the power, did I? So we need to connect the power there. And swap that there. Swap it, we'll just leave it. So that should then kick in stone the oil, and we should see our trains magically do train things. But yeah, so they sort of had to compromise a lot, which, you know, I don't sort of blame them for that, really. It's better that they finished it rather than just abandon it, you know, even if what was finished was suboptimal. And see, the blueprinting diagonal thing sort of works, but it's like the most jankiest thing ever. Okay, so we put one of them in. So. Oops. I think single robot will cover Iron. Yeah. Suboptimal. You should see my factory. There is no such. This is one of the things. It's one of the myths, and I get it, but I don't know that there isn't really an optimal factory. It's not, you know, it's not really a thing. And I know it's sort of, it's a strange thing to say, I know, but it's like efficiency's a myth. It doesn't matter. It's like just have fun, you know. Everyone gets obsessed with, you know, how do I make an efficient factory and all that sort of stuff. It's like there's the microcosm version of it is the post on Reddit where people are like, you know, roast my factory and this. It's like, does it make things? Then it's a brilliant factory. It's like, you know, it doesn't need to be anything more, you know. So put that there. So we just need to fill that bit in. It should actually give, because we'll now have a sort of two. We probably want a gate because the other one's there, isn't it? Okay, let's see if I can fit one of them in. Let's see if we can jank something together. Maybe if we do that and that, and then is that the? No, it's the other corner, isn't it? So I was all really clever when I set them up, and now I always forget how to do it. Yeah. Well, we'll just put that in there. And I'll pop that in. No, we won't. Oh, there we go. So, Now I'll just make some extra pieces. Row reports then. You would go to there, so I think that will cover it. So if I now sort of connect this across here somewhere, I have 2 points of attack for filling it all in. Yeah, watching too many great factories on YouTube is a big mental block for me to get started sometimes. Yeah, it's like I love Dosh's stuff. I think a lot of the community does. You know, I'm sure there are people who don't like it, but some of the things he builds, I know he has the timer, but if you actually look at the timer on the time he's taken to build something, and this is a guy, I mean, he knows the game. He really knows the game. And some of his build, times are like huge. And also, I don't know that it properly counts sometimes. He works in the planner, and the planner's well, I don't know about cheat, but when you're working in the planner, you have no concerns other than working in the planner. You're not worried about resources, you're not material, you're not worried about fighters attacking. And so I think it's a little deceptive, not deceptive in a nasty way, but it gives the impression that anyone can build these amazing factories. And when he does the mad challenges of only using or not killing any biters and then actually kills loads of biters, it's entertainment, that's great. But I think sometimes it does give that impression of like, well, why aren't I doing that? Why can't I build like that? And I say it's not it's not something that matters. Or you watch these videos where it's like, it's an hour-long video where they're making I guess now with space age, 1 million science per minute, mega base. And it's like, if you actually looked at the time they'd spent doing it, it'd probably be like 600 hours or something, and they've compressed it down into an hour. So the amount of time some of this stuff takes is not to be underestimated. It's like, I don't know if you saw when Snut was going over I can't remember the guy's name, he does he breaks the games, and he was doing the satisfactory ones. And he was rightly pointing out that some of these builds, where he's got the mad, whirlwind of belts, it must literally have taken hundreds of hours to put those together. And it's all just for a sight gag, Cool, so I think eventually we'll kind of build that round. The tricky part is that some biters may come and set up home. This is not connected, is it? Okay. I never figured out. Oh, it's in the nuclear, okay. Those are the requester chests and stuff. Well, they built it all in. We've got substations. When have we got substations? I've built substations? Huh. Why is there a random pipe in there? I didn't know I'd made substations. I thought they were purple science. 158 of them. Okay. I don't think we have power issues. He says, looking at the chart and seeing that we have power issues. Okay. So how about we stick in a bit more solar? Because the bots don't have enough to do. So let's give them some more jobs. The solar there. In theory, I could fill this entire thing with solar. It's all my territory now. Yeah, we'll pop them on. That didn't take. Why did that not take? Oh, there's a box in there. Okay. Worst case, I can come and sort of fill some of that in myself. So, the trains have not trained, and they've not trained because presumably these have only just started filling up. Nothing is coming. Does this have demand? It is saying, please send me 1 oils. Why are you not doing anything? Because you're on manual. Okay, that's an easy solve. Oh! Okay. That was weird. I remember this. Yeah, that's why it's on manual, because there's something wrong with the blueprint. Let's let the bots do their thing. Joshy. Yeah, Josh, I think that's right. Yeah, let's game it out, yeah. And he would have done that. I mean, that was, you know, those videos are ancient. So there wouldn't even been the option of doing a blueprint thing. I wish they would open source it instead of just letting the game die. Yeah, that would be an interesting way forward. I know, obviously, K-Rex has said on this, that's about Tectonica, on this, that he wants to make it open source. But then he's also said he wants to make his own C++ compiler. And Bilkers basically keeps stomping the idea down. But yeah, I know he wants to open source the game eventually. So all the thing about, you know, the game never going on sale, eventually, assuming you can compile it, you'll be able to get it for free. However many years that off is then. Right, so yes. Road trains. And as I say, I remember this. There is some. It's not quite right in the blueprint. Now, what's the key? Is it H? No? J? There we go. Rolling stock connected. Okay. Auto then. So yes. You can actually see it, can't you? It's slightly off, I think. Or maybe it's where I built it. Let's open there. I'll be able to see them build it and see what's wrong with it. Oh, I've got some. Now, are you connected? No, you see. Huh. Oops. So I wonder what I've done wrong there. If I pop one in, so I can get the schedule, and then just sort of build it again. Oh, it won't let me copy the schedule. Then I also need to do the train fuel putty in thing. Wait, let me do that one. Stop being annoying. Map. Fuel. Oh. So it'll do the 50, and then when you do a blueprint, it swaps it down to 1. Okay, so does that have the schedule on it? It does. So if we blueprint this over the top, is that going to fix it? Do I have to parameterize it? No. And we do entities, trains, vehicle, fuel. Cool. So let's pick all of these up and see if it builds a connected train. Yes, there we go. Okay. Do I want a second one of these? I guess I do. Have we delivered oil here? Has it worked? Here we go. Automatic trains are doing automatic train things. Awesome. What? Oh. What was that? Thank you very much for the follow. That's very kind. Sorry, I didn't catch the name there. Okay, so Battle Pigeon Gaming, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciated. See if I can get that. King. Okay. There we go. Yes, so we have oil now delivered here. It's not connected, so it's not doing anything, so that's an error. Fix that on there. So oil should... That's not connected either. Oil should flow and get processed. We do not have water. It's not far off down to that though, is it? How about we sort of chunk something together? So down there, I needed to go and add a water pump, didn't I, to this as well, because that's not being made automatically. Did I turn you on? I did. So pickup is not, because this presumably, with the tanks being full, it must have done a couple of trips. Nice. I don't suppose... Oh, stones worked as well. We have functional blueprints. Awesome. That should also, in theory, it has, have unblocked our iron. I seem incredibly impressed by my own blueprints, don't I? Hi, I have a question about pipes and fluids. How far can a pipe a fluid before I need to add a pump? Oh, it actually tells you. Just 1 second. I guess that's not going because this is not demanding more. Yeah, I will dash down and add the thing in, but I'm pretty sure it actually tells you if you hover over. Train's coming. The pipe. I'm pretty sure it's 250 tiles. But they did fiddle about with the settings, so that may not be accurate. Why do these not work? Ah, that's weird. Why have I got red belt there? Guess just an error. Yes, so we'll go and look at the oil build, where I need to put these pipes in anyway. I think it's in the tooltip somewhere. So, where it says, it's 320 tiles, so where it says pipeline extent, don't know if you can see that, but it's got working crude oil 100, crude oil temperature, pipeline extent, that is your maximum tile distance. But what it means, it's a bit weird, it doesn't mean that you can only have 320 pipes in a network, because it means a square 320 by 320. So if you imagine you've got a whole super complicated nest of, you know, pipes going all over the place and connecting to things, and say these were all oil pipes, then it only becomes an issue when you go, imagine that's 320 by 320. If you add one more pipe anywhere beyond that on any side, then it will flag it up. You can also not even bother looking at it, because what will happen when you get to that size is it'll actually flip the colour to red. So at the moment, when you hover over, it's got a coloured pipe system. So here, for example, the green is the lube, the blue is the water, the yellow is the sulfuric acid. When that goes past the limit, it goes red, basically. So, and it also changes the symbol. I think it becomes like a square, I think, something like that, or a cross. Well, it's a cross, isn't it? A red cross. And you can basically then see you've gone, that's too far, as it were. You've gone too far. But yes, 320 pipe tiles, basically. But not in a... It used to be, you used to actually have to consider the length of a single pipe. But it's not quite done that way anymore. So if I run down here with this, extend this down, and we hit 320, I don't think we will, then it'll go red. Let's see if I can get close to it. No. So we've not gone far enough. We've got 210 out of 320, so it's getting close to that, but it's not actually hit that limit. I need to build a couple of water pumps, which I always forget where they are. They're on this, aren't they? Offshore pumps, are they? Yeah, that's how you can tell. The throughput thing now I found a bit weird, because if I wanted to get more water, so this is delivering obviously a maximum of 1,200 waters per second. If I wanted to double that, all you have to do is just add on an extra pump, because the actual pipes have infinite throughput, and so you could just add more and more, pipes on, and it sends more and more water. The bit you have to be careful of then is when you get to that limit, a regular pump can only do 1,200. So if you're putting in 6 pumps worth, you need 6 pumps worth to do it. 6. So if you're putting in 6 water pumps, then you need 6 pumps in parallel, basically, to push it all through again when you hit that limit. There's a random pipe there that is clearly water, but I don't have any way of connecting it in. So what I think I'm going to have to do is, if we take this sort of up here, instead, I'm going to connect all of these together. Hope that helps. 320 by 320, yeah, that's right. So it's like if you go 310 up and then go diagonal, and then go sideways, it doesn't add to the pipe length. So that's where it gets weird and very, very video gamey. So that should be another water one as well, shouldn't it? But yeah, it's taken me quite a lot to get used to the whole, you could put 5 pumps worth of water into one pipe and it just appears magically all at the other end. Took a lot to get my head around it. But yes, we now have oils. Why are you not doing anything? Because there's no fill up on them. That's fine. We should probably put in... This is weirdly spaced out because it's designed around having, beacons around it and stuff. So we go... Which one is it? Let's just go in there. Manufacturing. No, it's not in that, is it? It's in... that one. We need more of these, basically. No? Other way around? So, let's just do 12. I'm not going to bother working out the numbers, but... Get the bots doing it. Let's put it on the side. Let's Power down. So, thanks, I suck with pipes. I need for rocket fuel. I always hit overextended. Yeah, it's a weird. I know it didn't have it when they first brought it in. You know, this new pipe system, but it's to kind of stop people doing too much in the way of, you know, just. I think they're probably going to tweak it again, because I don't think their intention is for people to just have, you know, to stop using trains and just go, you know, pumps, you know, foundries, you know, end products. I think they're probably going to tweak it so that it is limited again in some way, but I'm not sure how. I really wish the new circuitry thing combinator selector is it. Wish it was green science tech so I could make the stuff I want for my next factory earlier. That makes no sense. The other two are green science. Do you actually find that useful then? I have not really found that to be a useful addition. But then I don't really do a lot of circuit network stuff, so yeah. So what we need to do now then is make plastic, and then we will finally have, he says, thinking, everything we need to hook up all of the things for rockets. And once we have rockets properly working, we could do space science, I think. I probably need to make some grabber arms and stuff. I don't think I ever put them here. But we can do that, that'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's right. We don't have any iron plate on the iron plate belt. Oh, we've not got red inserters, have we? Red splitters. So let's get them rolling. That's our steel. Whatever happened to brick? We have made some brick. Our train is either not coping, what are you trying? No path. Ah. So the thing I was worried about, I think, might actually be a problem. Oh, no, there you go. So yeah, it does look like it is an issue. Unless, was that one? Yeah. So this is trying to get to this station. Although I didn't change this over, did I, to the fixed combinators. So it could be that. But yeah, a train on a completely different network is trying to get to that station. Okay. That's not necessarily a problem. This was, you know, very much a temporary thing. And eventually I do want all the trains networked up. It's just that because we don't have, we can't get, I'm trying to get the, make other sciences before you do purple and gold. And we therefore don't have elevated rail. What was I talking about there? I think it also flashes at the bottom right where missing logistic request items describe building alert session. Okay. I want to try my hand at sushi oil. Oh, crikey. Oh dear. I would be absolutely no help with doing that. I did use the selector combinator on Fulgora to find the first 8 most items in the logistics network and recycle them, and quality filter is also good. Interesting, yeah. Yeah, that would be a fairly, yeah, I think that would be a good use case for them, wouldn't it? So what have we got the most of? Because that's like a dyno. Also, it's not one of the things the problems I had with it is the use cases I was thinking of are like, how to phrase it? You basically you're trying to say, well, which have you got, the least of, and make more of those items, right? But as soon as you've made a few, the list changes, and so if you actually wanted to sit there, and I can know you can do memory cells and all that sort of stuff, but if you want it to sit there and make, say, we run out of inserters, so inserters goes down to 0, so that goes to the top of the list, bottom of the list, whichever you want to phrase it. And so it sends out the signal to the automated thing to make more inserters. As soon as it's made like one inserter, that might take it up the list, and so the signal comes down to make something else instead. And I say, other than doing memory cells, which is not something I really want to mess about with, to be honest with you, that seemed to be like, well, therefore it's useless, because it's just like flipping, it's flip-flopping all the time to, a different item. But if you've got a list where you're saying, right, we've got too many of these, then actually you kind of want it to flip-flop and stuff. And also your numbers are going to be much different scale, aren't they? You're going to have, say, 5,000 too many, and it's going to take a while for it to eat through that 5,000. And also if you're doing multiple, as you say, if you're doing like the top 5 or something, it's probably not going to actually change much. Interesting. What was I going to do? What I was going to do was put one of them in. Flip it over to 2 yellow belts. And then it is this one, isn't it? Yeah, it's this one here. So we can pop across. There. There. That one feed in there. That one feed in there. It's a lot of stone brick because I never put the pumping on for the nuclear one, did I? But then can't really do nuclear until we've got logistics. Okay, but then I guess we also want some stone at some point, but we don't really need it now. It's got polluted lines here, look. It's really messing up the orientation. Now, where is that? That goes there. So what we probably want to do, simplest solution, I think we probably want to go red belt on it, which I am the holder of all red belt. I want to upgrade this. I've deleted it there, haven't I? It's literally the opposite of what I'm trying to do. Splitter. Another splitter. Where is this coal coming from? Okay. Okay. Let's do... there. Quite like to do a, because I've been trying to do, I mentioned Dosh earlier, I'm trying to do challenge runs. This is the thing I say. The point I was kind of trying to make with it is that the amount of time that he puts in is not something you appreciate until you try and do one. Because having 100 hours to spare just to play it through and do something mad like, you know, can we only use scrap or something like that? It's a lot. It's a big time commitment. It takes a long time to do these things. And one of the challenges, what I was thinking I might try and do was, can you basically live in space? So can you just play the game from space, basically, as soon as you get there? Pretty sure you can, but it might get a bit. It means you've got to automate absolutely everything, and there's no, and you've got to rely a lot, I think, on you know, tanks and stuff like that, because there's no dashing over, particularly, you know, with not being able to see in the you know, in the fog of war and stuff. I think that might get quite tricky. But the other thing to these challenge runs is, like, they have to be fun, and you can get 30 hours into it, sort of thing, and realise this isn't actually all that, you know, it's not that interesting. Cool. Okay, so I think that'll send more in. Oh, I never reconnected this, did I? No, in fact, I don't need to get. Okay. Commented on your Fogor video recently about the enemies, and you said, I quite like the idea of constant mobile enemy travelling with the lightning. Though that would be pretty different to what we currently have. Here's what you meant by that. Oh, was that not what you intended? So what I'd interpreted what you'd said was that effectively there would be, because you mentioned the AT-AT walker, I think, is that? Might be getting all mixed up, but the idea that what I thought you were saying is that as the lightning moves around, the enemy is travelling around with the lightning. So effectively, I mean, it wouldn't be, I don't quite know how you'll do it in game, but basically every time the lightning came around, no path. So now it's trying to pick up from there, you see. And they're both ready to go, but this can't get there because it's trying to get over here. And that one's sat open because it's trying to get there. So it doesn't work when it's separate networks, does it? Okay. But yes, what I'm trying to do is bring some coal down. So make some plastic. I'm the only one with these undergrounds. I need loads of them. But yes, what I thought it was like effectively like a vehicle that travels around, letting the biters or the enemies go to, you know, move around with the lightning. So effectively it'd be like a mobile threat. So that's what I thought you were saying, but I guess not. Yeah, they chase the lightning even though it's omnipresent lightning. But yeah, the idea of a mobile enemy that follows a, you know, like a that is, you know, processing around the planet, and so therefore, effectively they come across in waves, would be quite interesting, because obviously these guys, you know, they colonize an area. That's all they do. They colonize an area. They respond to pollution, and it's very responsive. It's very, you know, that way. But they don't move. These nests are fixed. You know, they'll colonize new bits like this, but they won't move around the map. And obviously the worms sort of move, I guess. But I suppose it is similar. I didn't think about that. It is similar to the worms in that they patrol around an area, and that's kind of what I thought it would be. But I guess the difference would be the lightning is more time-based, so they would be turning up every, few hours. We've got some attacks going on. Probably where we've got no, we're okay. Yeah, I suppose it is actually like the worms in that way. I did quite like the idea of it being a vehicle. That it's sort of a moving walker across the thing, and it travels with the lightning. Harvesting, using the lightning for power, sort of thing. And then it hits your base and either trashes it or steals your stuff or something like that. I wish I was better at memory cell switches and times counters to block too early switching. Yeah, it's strange actually. So the RS latch, the like classic switch thing. I remember actually building one of those in like an electronics class when I was at university, and I didn't have any trouble with it at all. But trying to do it in the circuit network always breaks my brain. I'm going to get it eventually, but it's like it's this thing I've said about the circuit network is brilliant, but it makes some logical leaps that I always just struggle to get my head around. Cool, so I think that's all connected. Do we have any trains? No. Let's let the bots do their thing. We're nearly there. We might nearly have plastic by the end of the stream. Cool. It's not connected there, is it? And those should be fine. Right. I've got a balancer on that now. Doesn't really matter, but can't help myself. Can't help myself. Yeah, we need to hook all of this in, and that in, and that in, and that in to make the blue circuits, but it's all ready to go. We would need sulfuric acid, but that's what we're doing with the oil. And then we need plastic, which, as noted, I did not actually assign a lane to. Guess we could just use that spare one. Just there, maybe. Here we go. So this was a discovery I made during the... I'm just holding down the left mouse button, and it lets you delete it. So if you're doing this and you realise, oh, I've got too close there, you just go back a bit. And then, of course, you've got the fact that you can do that auto bend thing. Well, like here, we get here, we accidentally build a underground. We don't want to do that. Oh, it doesn't delete undergrounds. Interesting. I say I didn't know whether that was a feature that's been in there since 2.0. Or they've just added it. Sneak past that. Absolutely want to go. There you go. I should be using it to do that. Yeah. Oops. No. Doesn't do the corners thing. bring it down here. Okay. So, we do already have some plastic sulfur rocket fuel builds, but they are built around blue belts. So I put this down here. So I'll have to edit them. Which is the in and which is the out? The out is that way, isn't it? So, need to downgrade the fact just belts really, isn't it? So if I get one of them, go blue to red, so oh, it's also the modules. So we want to go from say 3, 1. If you can hear weird noises, it's because my air conditioner's on, because we're ramping up to a heat wave in the UK. So it's like super humid. Swap the bacons. Let's swap the modules. Beacons in. And then I'll just stick this in, nowhere near enough hole, but it's fine. It'll do what it's going to do. In fact, we might as well downgrade that as well. Boop. So we need a couple of undies. Going to do it as a yellow belt for now. Where do I need to hook it in? Over here. Yeah, as I said, it seems the mod for Goron enemies seem to just use Bitriot. Which I get. I mean, it must be almost impossible to add in new AI, and particularly with it and keep it performant. But I think one of the things with that is it's a bit like the worms, where if you have just an isolated enemy, you know, you're just adding one enemy in effect, then I think maybe you'd probably be able to get away with it more. So, you know, something more complicated. Okay, so we need to hook these. Into some petroleums. And where is that? It's right here. So if we go there. Oops. Because we also need to put in the sulfur and stuff, don't we? It's a new feature recently, yeah. I thought it was. So I was doing the next to these quick tutorial videos, and I was just like, wait, what? What's going on? Because I was running backwards, holding the, as I do, I just randomly doing weird things with me, you know, clicks and stuff. And it was like, Hang on. What's going on? Why is it deleting the belt? What the heck is happening? Okay, so that gets us some plastic, finally. I think what I would do, I think probably better off with like the light oil, just sort of pushing it down basically. So we'll have it, somewhere coming down here for the rockets. This is me doing all that maths, wasn't it? But yeah, in theory, we've got everything for LDS. That's nowhere near enough plastic, is it? We're going to have a struggle with that, I think. Yeah, if we pop these in. As well, put them all in there. And then plastic there. Coolio. So, if we're going to put stuff in here, I think, where is the blue circuit board is there, isn't it? So that's going to be more like a reverse bus situation. It's going to come backwards. Okay. So that could easily be in there, basically. So that could be the blue circuit one. And then I'm obviously imagining a couple of silos. So not be too extravagant. A couple of silos won't hurt us. There. So what we need to do, so if we maybe think about having light oil coming that way, maybe petroleum as well, so we don't run out. In fact, actually, I think the build uses all three fluids. Oh, we have a turret out of ammo. Oh dear. I'm sort of assuming it's been making ammo. Oh, look, loads. Cool. Because it's meant to be putting them in these boxes. Nice, yeah. See, you just leave it and the bots just do it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to be stood there making it. Of course, you've got to remember that you're the only one who can make gates, but idiotic user aside. So yeah, the generic train system works, but gets very confused when you start doing things with disconnected systems. It works when it's one system, which is an interesting constraint, shall we say. And make it there. Now, we'll leave a little bit of space, I think. Alpol's worth, and then we should have. So that's the solid fuel build. That's the rocket fuel. There we go, LDS. I think I'm only going to put half of this in, so we'll pop it in. See, these are built around having factory towns served by rail. So they're not really practical builds for this, but big sand rock is in the way. So if we then sort of chop off, so that's going up there. And if I split that, that's the halfway point. What's going on here? I'm not sure, as I say, I would normally put combinators on here and to say what's done it, but I've literally just pulled these up from the previous game. Now, we need to swap everything down at least one level, but we also need to replace these. Oops, that was a mess. With the chests, get rid of the bacons. So, cool. Because I've done belt weaving, I need a lot of undergrounds. Okay. Sadly, they didn't fix the direction change when I upgrade underground belts manually when I run plus. Yeah, that's yeah. No, that's a bit of an odd bug. It's like they still. I don't think they've still don't. I still don't think they've fixed the parameterization one. You know, where it tells you the wrong things, and I would have thought that was quite an easy fix. Because it tells you the wrong when you're parameterizing. You're in here. It tells you this, so the crafting time. Yeah, so PN_R crafting time of parameter n is not the crafting time. That's the rocket stack size. Now, rocket stack size is an undocumented feature, which is pretty bad, I'll be honest, for a software developer. But yeah, P_R is the rocket stack size, and P_T, I think, is the time. So yeah, and that surely must be just a text edit. I can't see it doing any calculations to work that out. Must be. Now, what do we think might have been coming into each of these? So low density structures, the thing they use most of is copper. So this must have been copper here, must have been the copper line. Yeah, this must be copper. These four. So we might as well. I think I should downgrade all of this, really. We're not going to sustain this. Let's just flip it to yellow belt for now. So I can maybe at some point. Actually start doing space science. In fact, yeah. Where are you actually going? You're going there. I think I'm going to kill off the bottom part of this as well. It's way overkill for that. What I'm actually doing to just get rid of all of this. Like so take this down to yellow belt. Right. Do. Oh, another one out. $24 of them, apparently. We're going to need to build. That might be interesting. I guess what I could do is de-underground it, because we make these long-handed. So I just want to make some. I'm not fussed about this massive production scale that I've ended up doing. And this was for a mega base, like old school mega base, so numbers are way bigger than what we've got here. I'm accidentally picking up box. So I didn't adapt it. Just copied and pasted it. We don't need all of this rubbish, do we? I don't even reach there now. Oh, this is going well. Okay. So I guess these have got to be. That one doesn't need to be that. It's got to be the iron, sorry, steel and plastic. Yeah, because that's the low density structures coming out. So, I think this can be either. That doesn't have to be a red. Just there. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't. If I adjust that to there, get rid of that weaving altogether. What about this one? Yeah, we shank that way. No, shank that way. I'm de-weaving the weaving. It's breaking my brain. De-weaving the weaving. So if we connect this to like whichever one, steel or what have you. Oops. Where's this plastic? Why is it not come all this way down here? Just send that down. Because what are the other things? We've got blue circuits. In fact, yeah. Because these are all self-contained. I need to, you know, when we get science up and running, I need to do them as well. But for now, let's just make this space science that I keep saying we're going to make, and we never actually make. If I just sort of to end. There it is. I must have beckoned it in. We also probably want some mechanism. Both of those belts down. That appears to be still going the wrong way. So what have I done there? What's happened there? Steel is going that way. Why is steel connected to that? Oh, because I didn't do the belts right. Okay. Just this one that's... No. That. There they are. Low density structures. We've finally made one of our actual bits. So let's maybe put in, what time is it? 6:40. Am I gonna get my first automatic rocket by the end of the stream? No, I'm not. But let's see how close we can get. The next build then would be the rocket fuel, I guess, but that requires the solid fuel. Again, these are huge builds for a mega base, so we don't really need a lot of this. There you go. It actually says what it produces. So this build makes one yellow belt, and in theory that would make one red belt. And I've cut it down so that it's like half, because I've done like a quarter, and also downgraded the machine, so it's not even half of a yellow belt. So we don't need all of this. But yeah, let's put in that. Sort of edit it away. Where's it gone? There it is. So if we put it same, there's a line up. So, yep. Put it in there. No, we don't really need all of this. And these machines can go down a level. In fact, if we do that and in fact, why don't I just take out half of this altogether? And this pump is based on it being oriented differently, isn't it? In fact, I'll leave that for the time. Actually, I've got that the wrong way around then, haven't I? Built it upside down. Okay, that doesn't matter. We can turn that around. So this will be this one here. And then we also need the solid fuel build. And that we need to pop in sort of... Is that the right way around? Yes. Yeah, I think so. That one I'm less fussed about, you know, adapting down. It's just a whole bunch of chemical plants. What we do need though is we need to do red to yellow, I think. Well, am I going to get that to work? I don't think there's any weaving in this, so I think we'll be okay. So what's the video you got in the works on Fulgoran enemies then? Can we get the scoop on this? It's actually, it's not 100% dissimilar to what, you know, we were just talking about. It's a similar sort of idea, but it's based around the vaults. So the kind of idea of it, I don't mind saying, because it's not that many of you watch the stream, so it's not exactly a spoiler. But the idea would be they would go into the vaults. So basically they pop out. It's like a pop-up enemy, basically. So they come out of the vaults, and then where does that need to go? There. So they pop out of the vaults because you've woken them up. And hang on a second. First. Can I build that? Yeah. I don't have any. Oh, no wonder. Yes, they pop out the vaults, and then I won't kind of spoil what how they work, as it were. But the idea would be that you either have a time limited thing where you only have a certain amount of time in order to kill them. And if you don't, then it could, I hadn't thought about it, but it could be tied to the whole lightning thing. Maybe they pop out during the night time, and you've got to kill them. And effectively, once they've done their, what would you call it, like cycle or what have you, they then go back into the vault. And you then can't destroy them. Now, you can destroy the vault itself, but that doesn't kill the enemy. The idea is that underneath Fulgora, this is all based on my speculation around, that there's this massive underground catacomb of, dead Fulgorans, basically. But underneath the planet, there's then this, and that means all of the vaults are linked. So as you spread out, you're going to encounter more and more of these vaults. Now, obviously, you could literally just delete the vaults as soon as you find them. That would be a way around that mechanic. But the other part of the idea is that the vaults themselves were defended. I remember this is one of the things I was speculating about, that a way of kind of doing an enemy on Fulgora is that those vaults would be heavily defended. And so, you would have to consciously go out and actually take the vault. And there could be like a respawn mechanic. I don't know how it would work though. But the vaults could come back, sort of thing, I guess. But that was kind of the idea, is that as you expand and as you grow, but the sort of other problem to it is that, and I think it's a problem generally with the expansion. They give you so much like building capacity. You can make so much out of such a small space. Once you've got your, especially with doing all the buffs, researches and all that sort of stuff, that your base set can be quite it's only really when you're going to like a million scale mega base that you need to build a big base. The bases can get smaller and smaller and produce more and more. So that's the sort of problem with that enemy approach, is that once you've wiped out those vaults, are you going to expand? Probably not. So it's not really any much of a threat. But say I think that's kind of a bit of a problem with the expansion generally, in that, you know, unless you're going really big, it doesn't really, you know, don't really matter. It's like, you know, it's quite a small, ends up being quite a small sort of a build thing, really. And that's obviously what they've intended, you know. It's not, and it's not like criticism. It's clearly been done partly so that you can build a 1,000,000 scale mega base without having to have. Oh, somebody's put science in the way here. I guess I could just dogleg around it, couldn't I? Now this is where we'll get into 2 long pipes, I think. So if we ended up having that one there. Where would these be coming out if they've got? So I guess we could put light oil there. Like that. Just need to get these out over here. Okay. Yeah, so the idea was that it was based around the vaults, basically, that, you know, they would come out of the vaults and you would have to both deal with them initially in order to... It's a bit like, it ends up with the same thing as the worms, where to start with they're a challenge, but, you know, they're not really a challenge later. And I think the combat in the game has that fundamental problem, and I don't know that there's a solution to it. Other than, I mean, the problem really is to do with the buffs. So the core game design thing that causes the combat becomes, you know, just a mild tickle of annoyance than anything worthwhile. Than anything, you know, you end up having to really engage with, is because you can buff everything to the degree that, you know, one bullet kills a behemoth biter sort of thing. It's like, it's designed to make the actual combat is designed to become redundant, in a sense, as a mechanic that you need to worry about. Which, hey, it's fine, it's not. Oh, there you go. There's the red X you get when it's too far. Wasn't necessarily intending on demonstrating that, but there it is. Not, I imagine that that's around. How are we doing on time? It's 10 to 7, so we're not really going to get this space science rocking and rolling, but we're not far off. What am I doing here? I need to move that down, don't I? That. That's annoying. So I need to move that back, really. There we go. Sounds a lot like biters, though. With defended bases and such that you can get rid of, is why I thought of an enemy that will come, wander by, steal your electricity, and only attack you if you... Yeah, I say it is a sort of a difficulty. They would be the sort of idea of it, really. And so I guess it is sort of spoiling the mechanic that I was thinking of, but they would be mobile. The idea was that they come out of the vault. They don't necessarily hang around the vault. Like, you could do it in several ways, but no, actually that's wrong. They were going to be static, but they would have a yeah. I shouldn't say because that is getting into the, you know, explaining it as it were. But they would have a means of attacking you that would mean you would have to engage with them. And that was kind of the thing I was thinking about to say. You end up with a situation where, are you going to take any more of these things? Well, the kind of other side to it is that you have to deal with them because, you know, they want to deal with you, if you see what I mean, and not in a pollution sort of a way. But yeah, I mean, what I actually go on to say in the video is that I don't know if it would actually be fun. So I basically discount my own idea. It's a video I'm a little bit nervous of making, actually, because it's actually about the end game, and the fact that I'm not actually that big of a fan of the end game that they introduced a Space Age. You know, I don't hate it or anything, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping, if that makes sense. And I need to be a bit careful because I don't want to. I don't dislike it. You know, it's not that. That's not my point. My point is more, I was hoping for certain things that aren't in the game. It's I mean, there's a little bit of an element of it of, you know, I got very excited about. Why has that got heavy fuel in it? What have I done? I've popped that up, haven't I? It's almost me sort of popping to the fact that. So that one should be the heavy oil. So it should be that one, okay. That I kind of got a bit carried away with my own speculation during that, you know, when I was doing the Friday Facts. I don't really say any of this in the video, it's not some weird confession, but, you know, I got a bit carried away about what I had in my head as being it, compared to what actually is the expansion. So which is which then? The middle one there is your light oil. The middle one there is your light oil. The middle one there is the much. So that one should connect to this one. So, do this one again then. Chunk it all down to yellow. And now this needs to go in here. Oops. Oh. Sorry. Here. That robot's going to be in the way again. Brilliant. Use. Oil. Come in this way. Oh, look at the length of that underground. The solid fuel, it doth flow. Yeah, the expansion feels like kind of like a new cliffhanger, leaving you thinking, well, did we do it now? Are we saved? Can we go home? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the video's about, basically. It's basically making the point that Prometheum science is just what? What does that achieve? Its number goes up. Okay, great. Why does number go up? And there is an element to it of people like number to go up. The gamers, gamers like number go up. But fundamentally, for what we're doing, why? What does that do? And the answer is just number goes up, and you can make number go up more. It's just that's the extent of it. I think this does actually need a second one, doesn't it? Because these are so slow. That's not very much rocket fuel at all. We've got so much solid fuel. So yeah, I think actually we can possibly, maybe, be very generous. Put that in. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that'll be a while, that video. I don't think that's coming anytime soon, I'm afraid. So I do need to be very careful in the tone, because I don't want it to come across as I don't like the expansion or anything like that. It's definitely not that. So I need to make sure that's, it says that, so it doesn't say that. Let's hop over here. Go across there. Whoops. The real answer is for me to learn how to do modding and build something myself, but as already stated, I don't even have time to play all the games I've bought. So I'm hardly going to do a load of mods. Okay. So yeah, it needs to work itself out, but that gets us rocket fuel and low density structures. I could probably put the second one in, couldn't I? Again with that. But yeah, that gets us both of those. It looks like it's probably sent this up to the platform. It has. Cool. And we've got the panels. So we could do space science. But it's 7 o'clock. So I have failed in my editorial promise. What I need to do next time, I will, if I get time, which I hopefully will this week, I'll hook all of this up basically. So we will have green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits trickling along the bus, and then obviously the blue circuits need to go here directly, and that's the last one. So all of that is built. It's just not hooked up, so it's just connecting it all. So I think I probably need a second one of these. But I need sulfuric acid as well, and I have a build for that. I need to build that in. Do I? I say that. Towns. Well, I got one for sulfur then. I haven't got one for sulfuric acid then. Okay. But I think it's got that built into it. Yeah, it has. So, in fact, I don't even need to feed in sulfur, do I? Okay. I need it for blue science. But it just takes petroleum and water. Cool. We have achieved our goal as a von Neumann probe. That's our victory. We don't know. I say this is my point about this. Are we a von Neumann probe? At what point do you launch the von Neumann probe? you know, your extra probes. Because now we don't even. I mean, it made more sense. And I say this is actually in the video as well, but it made more sense when we were just launching the rockets. You could imagine that the satellite we launched was actually a von Neumann probe, and that was actually firing off, going into interstellar space, crashing somewhere on some other planet, and spreading on. But in this version, we build a space platform, go past the solar system edge, get to the shatter planet, grab a load of promethium, and do promethium science. We don't launch a von Neumann probe. We don't even launch a satellite, you know. So I say that's they've kind of broken that as an option. And you can obviously go, well, it's just happening in the background and we don't see it, but why not? You know, why not get us to actually build a von Neumann probe? That'd be quite an interesting end goal. And as I say, that's kind of my the point of the video in a sense. It just feels to me like it needs an actual end goal, and it could be anything, you know. But to me, just number goes up isn't really a goal. It's why, you know, I'm paraphrasing the video now, but I basically make a point in it that I never did a mega base because just bigger number is just bigger number. It's not a goal that drives me as it were. I'd always restart, you know, because the fun for me is in the design, in the building. It's not in the, well, I've now got, you know, 2,000 science rather than 1,500 science. And that's not criticising people who do enjoy that, but it's just saying for me, I want we did this. This is what we did. Well, we uploaded our location in the galaxy, so no other VMPs are sent our way. I suppose there's that, isn't there? Yeah, I suppose you are sort of putting it into the galactic, and so somebody somewhere is, you know, it kind of gets into the DSP thing, you know, the Disosphere program, where, you know, there's this center brain that's coordinating it all, I suppose. And that's the one that's mapping all the points on the galaxy. But yeah, it's interesting, but it doesn't, you know, and it doesn't matter. It's not like the game's worse without it. It's just to say, a lot of it is, as I say, I kind of built myself up when I was doing the speculation that we were going to do this, we were going to build this, we're going to do that, we're going to achieve this, and instead we just make a new science and that's it, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of what the community came up with as the end game, is mega basing, and so they've just codified it basically. Combine biter egg plus glib egg plus fish equals 2 engineer. Send into the next place, the biomass creature will spread. Indeed, yeah. It needs to propagate. Okay, so that's it for today and for this week. I will be back next week with exactly the same thing. We will be playing Factorio Space Age on the Saturday and Sunday. I might finally actually do the space science properly. The goal really, and I say I will probably get some time this week and use that to get all of this, like, you know, stuff I've built up and running. So we'll actually be able to, because, you know, the builds are there for the blue science, they're just not connected up. So if I can get that running, then we can crack on next week with building the actual space science build, and then researching logistics, so we can replace all of our chests with logistics, requesters and thrusters, and we can go to a new planet. That's kind of the goal that I'm aiming for, because the week after I'll be taking a little mini break. It's a bank holiday in the UK, and I'm taking a few extra days as well, so I will not be streaming in 2 weeks' time. When we come back after that is when I will probably be doing the Crashtoria 2 start. So I'll alternate, you know, once the Saturday will be, well, I don't know which way around I'll do it, but the Saturday will probably be this series, and the Sunday will probably be Crashtoria 2, or the other way around, and I might swap them or something. But I'm quite keen to see how Crashtoria 2 runs, and as Fishbone6 was saying, if it's also now compatible with Space Age, that might be quite interesting as well, doing a Crashtoria 2 version of Space Age. But I have to look at that and see. So yes, so same again next week. No streams the week after that. Then coming back with a split schedule of the parameterization, because I'm kind of aware that I haven't done any parameterization, and that's because it's the space stuff I want to look at for the parameterization. But yes, so that's the plan for all the streaming. If you are watching on Twitch, you can also watch on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also watch on Twitch, because I use Restream to stream to both, so you have your choice of preferred platform. If you are on Twitch, however, YouTube is the only one with the archived VODs, so you can find all the VODs for this series, as well as all the series I've done that involve sort of building and management games. So loads and loads of Factorio, my Tectonic playthroughs, Satisfactory a couple of times, Dyson Sphere program, all sorts of building and management games if you wanted to do them. You will also find on YouTube the archive of my Friday Facts videos that I've been going on about, where I did all that mad speculation and had an enormous amount of fun. I don't want to downgrade it at all, but getting really carried away and going through it all. What I'm following that up with is a series where I'm looking at lore and speculation, speculating about the lore in Factorio. I'm running out of steam. I have done now 4 of those, I think. There's 2 ended up on about the engineer, but then there's also about the Fulgurans and how you shatter a planet. There is a whole schedule of those videos like written. It's just they take quite a long time to record, edit, upload, etc., etc. So next month, the most recent one of those went live on Friday. Next month there will not be a speculation video. Instead, I will be doing some of the quick tutorial video series that I've been doing, mainly focusing around how I do this minibus idea, kind of expanding on that. So yes, so that will be next month's videos. I will give my members as early access as I possibly can. All of my members get early access. If you want to become a member, you can go on YouTube. It's £4.99 or your regional equivalent. That's all the promo-y stuff, I think. In terms of socials, Blue Sky's the only one I actually really use. But Twitter and Discord are listed there if you wanted to join on those. I had thought I would hope to try and do more on Discord, but it's one of those things with Discord. It's a bit like, both of these, to be honest with you. They never get huge numbers, the streams. I really enjoy doing them. But you get a momentum thing, when you get, there's loads of people, then you get the chat going on independently, and it doesn't require me to do anything, if you see what I mean. People can start chatting amongst themselves. But there's, you need a critical mass on something like Discord for that to happen, and that's just not... I don't have the time, or to be frankly, interest in kind of cultivating that as a community, and there's just not enough people there already. So what point I was making there, but if you did really want to join them and maybe get involved, then they're there. But the one to follow me on, if you want any kind of socials, and all I do is post when I go live and like cat videos basically, so it's not exactly the most active of Blue Skies. That's everything. I think that's all the self-promo, all the rubbish. So if you have been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.